Hi Alicia, what are you doing?
I've been trying to understand elasticity, but it's confusing. Could you explain it to me?
Sure, elasticity is the measure of the responsiveness of one variable to changes in another variable, which means the percentage change in one variable that arises due to a given percentage change in another variable. In simple terms, it tells us how much one variable will change when another variable changes by a certain percentage.
That sounds interesting. Can you explain more?
Sure. Elasticity is a fundamental concept in economics that helps us understand how variables such as price, income, and the quantity demanded of a good or service are related. Elasticity is crucial in economics as it helps us understand consumer behavior and market dynamics. It allows businesses and policymakers to make informed decisions based on how sensitive consumers are to changes in price and other factors.
Oh, so how about the price of a good elasticity? Can we measure it?
Sure can. Formula for own price elasticity of demand is EQPX equal percentage square QX divided by percent square PX, percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price of the good.
Then how do we know if there is an elastic or not?
If the value of elasticity is greater than 1, means elastic. If smaller than 1, means inelastic. Whereas equal to 1 means unitary elastic. However, when demand is elastic, price increase will reduce consumption. If demand is inelastic, price increase will reduce very little consumption.
Can you give me an example?
Of course, let's say the price of a movie ticket increased by 10%, and as a result, the quantity of ticket demanded decreased by 20%. The price elasticity of demand would be negative 20% divided by 10% equal negative 2. The price elasticity of demand PED in this case is negative 2, which indicates elastic demand. When the price increased by 10%, the quantity demanded decreased by 20%, showing a strong responsiveness to price changes. An absolute value of PED greater than 1 signifies elasticity.
Oh, I see. Are there any factors that will affect the elasticity?
Sure, the factor that will affect the elasticity is available substitute. The more substitute available for good, the more elastic the demand for good. This is because the price of goods have increased much more than substitute goods. The consumer will choose the cheaper goods to save more money. If there are few close substitutes for the good, demand will be relatively inelastic. This is because increased price make it difficult for consumer to move to a comparable product. Next is the time. Demand tends to be more inelastic in the short term compared to the long term. This is because the more time consumers have to react to a price change, the more elastic the demand for the good. For example, a consumer who has checked a flight within 30 minutes, he is much less sensitive to the price charge for a taxi ride to the airport than would be the case in the flight were several hours later. If given enough time to the consumer can choose many alternative modes of transportation such as bus, a friend car, or even on foot. Besides is the expenditure share. Consumer will spend her or his entire budget on a good. When the price rises, the consumer will decrease the consumption. If a good comprises only a small portion of the budget, the consumer can reduce the consumption of other goods when the price of the good increase. So, the good comprise a relatively small share of consumer budget tend to be more inelastic than goods for which consumers spend a sizable portion of their income. In other words, the cheaper the goods, the more inelastic.
Wow, it seems like now I'm more understanding already. Thanks, I did. I feel like I understand elasticity much better now. It's really important for knowing how demand reacts to changes in price and other factors.
No problem. I'm glad I could help you. Remember, elasticity is crucial for businesses and policymakers when making informed decisions.
Absolutely. Thanks again for explaining everything so clearly.